Hey guys, my name is Bob. I'm with CrossFit Glen Burnie here in Odenton, just a few minutes from Fort Meade. If you take exit 5 off of Route 32, we're right here. What I want to do today is I want to provide a few tips that we have for the new Army Combat Fitness Test. You may have heard that the new Army Combat Fitness Test has some flavors of movements that are similar to CrossFit or CrossFit-like. So what I want to do is give you some tips. The Army Combat Fitness Test has 6 different events in it. Those events are the maximum deadlift, the standing power throw, the hand release push-up, the sprint drag carry, the leg tuck, and the 2-mile run. Today what I'm going to do is we're going to be looking at some tips for that standing power throw with the medicine ball. So the event provides asks you to do an overhead toss of a 10-pound medicine ball for maximum distance. You get 1 practice throw and 2 attempts for your maximum distance. One of the things is they'll provide a starting line or a line that you'll stand in front of with your back turned, and you'll toss the ball overhead without crossing that line, okay? So some of the tips that we have for this is to practice the stance, where you put your feet, the grip on the ball, and the position that you're going to basically be using to get your maximum distance in this event. We'll go over that in a second. Another tip is to actually practice developing power from the core and the hips so you can deliver maximum amount of energy into that 10-pound ball to get your best distance. Having stability across the core and the midline is going to be super important to getting most of that power into that ball. The other thing is going to be practicing the release of that ball for maximum distance. What we've seen is that we can get a wide range of performance or distances on there just by releasing the ball a little bit too early or a little bit too late. And that's just going to make a huge difference on the overall distance that you're going to be able to get. So the big tip there is to practice this movement for proper timing and release of that ball so you can get the most out of all of that. So let's go over those tips one at a time so that we can see what we mean by those. The first one is the stance, the grip, and the position. What you want to do is you want to find a comfortable place to have those feet on the ground, basically generally underneath the hips, possibly slightly out by the shoulders a little bit versus being really narrow. You might benefit from having the toes slightly toed out a little bit versus having them straight as forward. But either some comfortable position like that is going to be your best stance versus being really wide here. You're not going to generate a lot of power being wide. The second thing is the grip, and we're talking about the grip on the ball. What we want to do is we want to make sure we get under the ball some so that we have a good grip that's not going to slip on the ball, but we don't want to be excessively under the ball. That's going to cut down on the amount of momentum that we can deliver on the ball. So we don't want to be on the sides. We don't want to be at the bottom. We want to find a comfortable grip here where we can get those fingers around the ball. The actual ball that you'll use in the test may actually be a smaller diameter, which may allow you to get a better grip on the ball. So that's our stance and our grip. The positions relate to how that ball is going to travel as you make the throw. We want to have nice long arms throughout the position where we're extending those hips. So that very first part of the movement, we're going to be having, we really want the legs and the hips to be doing the work. The position of the ball is with the arms extended. Once those hips fully open, it's the legs and the hips are pretty much have delivered as much energy into the ball as we can. We are going to, at that point, be bringing the ball up overhead, pulling the ball for some height and some distance that way. So the position is going to be with the ball out in front, overhead. So as we're making the setup, keeping the ball nice and close, arms long, the shoulders are covering the knees. We're going to be extending up violently with the hips, creating some upward momentum with the ball, following through with those arms, pulling the ball directly overhead. That kind of brings us to the next tip, which is practicing the timing and release on the ball. If you're thinking of creating distance by throwing the ball back, you're probably gonna end up releasing the ball much too late, delivering the ball in a more or less horizontal trajectory, which is not gonna give you your maximum distance. Instead, we wanna think of something up more toward the 45-degree angle this way, where that ball is getting some altitude. If we're way too early on that release, that ball is gonna be going up and it's gonna be coming right back down just a few feet behind you. So that practicing the timing of the release is going to be just that, practicing, and seeing how you're releasing that ball to get the maximum distance. So just a couple of attempts here. Gripping that ball, standing up nice and tall, feeling that position I'm going to hit before I bring the ball overhead. Coming down to cover the shoulders over the knees, extending up violently, and releasing that ball. So that was a pretty good throw, and we're just getting started. I would probably go through, make 20 attempts, possibly videotaping those to be able to see and play back, or preferably to have a coach working with you. Some of the things that you can also add into your training that will help are any of the Olympic lifts like the clean and jerk or the snatch, as well as some kettlebell movements, and for that matter, a lot of CrossFit training also provides those, as well as building a strong core and powerful hips. So anyway, those are our tips for you for the standing power throw. We have all 6 events covered in this series, so look forward to seeing you again on the next video. Take care and have a great day.